G'day and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to show you a really simple thing that you can do if you experience knee pain when kneeling. Whether that's a full kneel like this one, or it's a kneel where you have a high kneel where you just have your knee touching the ground. There are some simple things that you can try to improve how that area functions to make that more easily achievable for you to do day to day. So let's get into it. So before we get to this exercise, it's really important to understand conceptually what might be going wrong for you. And for me, clinically as a physiotherapist, one of the main reasons why people feel knee pain when kneeling actually has less to do with the surface that you're on and more to do with restrictions and tightnesses in the tissues that influence your knee. And in this instance, your quadricep muscles that run down the fronts of your thighs attach into the top of your kneecap. And if these muscles are unknowingly tight, then what they're doing is they're pulling more slack out of the knee joint, making it harder for you to close it down. And when you do close it down, increasing the pressure in that area. So while this may not be a conversation about arthritis or knee wear and tear for you, it's often the mechanical dysfunction around that that makes kneeling uncomfortable. And while a full kneeling position like this one may seem like a bridge too far for some people who experience knee pain, all this tends to be is just a natural expression of full knee flexion and a decent amount of ankle joint plantar flexion where you point your toes. And we might go through some ankle things in a video later down the track. If we just focus on improving the mobility of your quads as they insert into your knees, then this might be a realistic position you can aim towards getting to at some stage. So for the majority of people who experience knee pain when kneeling, a great place to start trying to improve the flexibility of your quadricep muscles at the front of your thigh is with a side-lying quadricep muscle stretch. And all it requires you to do is to lie on your side, grab the ankle of the leg you're trying to stretch, and then gently pull your knee back as far as you feel comfortable. What we're looking for here is we're looking for some tightness through that thigh. We want to make sure that your knee doesn't come up. We also want to make sure that you feel like your knee is coming back behind the line of your hips. But ultimately, we just want to find a position that exposes some tightness through the front. Now, if you're very tight through here and you can't even get to the point where you can reach your ankle, then you're welcome to grab a towel, wrap it around your ankle, and use that to leverage your foot up as far as you feel comfortable going. But all you need to do is find a version of this stretch that you feel gives you access to some tightness down the front of your thigh. And contrary to a lot of the advice you may have heard before, we don't just want you to hold this stretch for 30 seconds and hope for the best. What we want you to do instead is we need to activate wherever that musculature feels tight to get it to work. And that might just mean pushing your foot back into your hand or try and push the towel away if that's what you're using. But we want to do what we can to activate that muscle tightness for 5 to 10 seconds, with the idea being that when you stop tensing and relax while maintaining the same position, you should feel that that muscle instantly gives to some degree. This should then afford you the luxury of going that little bit further back into the stretch than what you could before repeating this process as many times as you feel you can, or you either get sick of it or you've stopped making change. Because what this does is this creates a reflex in your brain that maximal tension through a tight muscle is then followed by maximal relaxation. And then, as we always do on the channel, if you know how it feels to do a high kneeling or a full kneeling position, do that same thing again, just going down as far as you feel comfortable. And if you fed some slack into your knee by loosening up your quads, it should feel a little bit easier than it was straight away. But once you've started at that level, whether it's in lying or standing, we then want to progress you to a much harder version of this stretch eventually so that we can keep those gains coming. So once you've successfully played around with different versions of what feels comfortable with that quadricep stretch, we eventually want to get you to the stage where you can tolerate the more advanced versions of the couch stretch. And for those unaware, all the couch stretch is getting your knee into the back corner of something, bringing your other leg up, and then coming all the way up as far as you feel comfortable. Now, this can be a very brutal version of any stretch, but it's one of the best stretches that I recommend people do at trying to influence how tight your hip flexors and your quadricep muscles feel. Now, obviously, this is a more advanced version, and it does require you to have your knee on the ground, so you are more than welcome to put something underneath that just to make it feel more comfortable if you feel that that's required for you. Now, obviously, the step in between this and the basic quad stretches is doing this on a chair or a couch, as the name implies. But if you want to get to the stage where your knee and leg muscles are functioning well enough that you can tolerate a kneeling position, then the couch stretch on the floor is an amazing goal to aim for eventually. We want to follow the same principles as the basic quad stretch, where once you've found exactly where you feel your tightness is, you want to make sure that you give it a squeeze, tense it up as hard as you feel comfortable. That might mean pushing your foot back into the couch, the chair, or the wall, whatever you're up against. 5 to 10 seconds, relax, let it give. You'll be able to go a little bit further back, continue that process, again, until you feel like you've stopped making change or you've had enough. But the same thing as before, as soon as you've done that, you should immediately feel that your ability to get down into that kneeling position is just much more pleasant, lighter, and ultimately less uncomfortable. So as always, I genuinely hope that was helpful and insightful. Knee pain from kneeling is absolutely something that you can do without. It may be easy to feel that the reason why your knee hurts when kneeling is because you're getting a bit older, or you've developed some arthritis, or you've got a bit of a dodgy knee. But realistically, once we can start to improve those basic handbrakes that are filtering down and affecting the function of your knee, you'll hopefully be pleasantly surprised at how quickly you might start to feel better just from doing some basic stretches. So if it does prove to be helpful, please let me know down in the comments below. Please consider leaving a like rating on the video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy and find this content helpful. But as always, I sincerely hope that was beneficial. I hope to see you next time.